All right, everybody, this is Coach Chris here, and today we're doing episode number 5, and we're going to go right into the screen share here for what it means to move it to the middle. So as we go into this right here, get the panel out of the way. And I left off on our last little short video talking about what it means to move it to the middle. And the "it" in that sentence refers to the debt you might have, whether that would be an open-ended line of credit, like a credit card, or perhaps some type of store loan, like a furniture loan, or any other type of credit or that you might get from a store. It could be student loans or car loans, which are closed-end loans, in contrast to the open-ended lines of credit. And then you might also be looking at your classic like mortgage. And in case anybody has any confusion about that, yes, a mortgage is a debt. So all of these loans right here are called recourse loans, or in other words, the type of credit instruments that you would typically think of that have terms and conditions that are very favorable to the loaning institutions and not so much to you as the individual. So moving on to the next thing here, we need to look at if we're truly going to bank like a bank. And in our last episode, we broke down exactly what that means. But we're going to need to have technology, because down at the local bank, they do have tellers, they do have IT people, they do have carbon-based life forms who do work at the bank. But if you've ever talked to any of those people, they'll tell you that mostly what they do most of the time is execute directives and commands that they have gotten from sophisticated computer programs that effectively tell them what to do within the parameters of their programming. So in order to truly bank like a bank, we're going to have the right technology that uses the latest and the greatest things that are available when it comes to executing banking principles in a way that really routes us and directs us to our debt-free date the fastest way possible. So banks definitely don't do that manually. Maybe 100 years ago, you can picture the funny little hat and those green lights that they might have behind them, and like a pencil with an eraser on it and ledger paper. But these days, that's not how it goes. They turn on their computer and they use machine learning systems that allow them to save time and to create efficiencies to arrive at their debt-free date the fastest way possible. Now, this should not sound in any way mysterious. In fact, if you think about it, you more than likely have this technology on your phone, in your purse, in your car. It's mapping, routing, guidance technology. It's GPS. And just like the banks use artificial intelligence and machine learning systems to arrive at their goals and financial objectives faster, in our laser fund that I referenced earlier in the video, in our liquid assets safely earning returns, what we want to be able to accomplish is to get to our debt-free date in the fastest way possible by creating our own bank. And in that bank, we want it to be a modern bank that has financial GPS. And the financial GPS that we're going to use, instead of giving us turn-by-turn directions, is going to tell us exactly how much money to move at which time, from which account to which account, based on the terms and conditions of those accounts, as well as based on a thorough analysis from the machine learning system about our burn rate of money. So just like the most sophisticated corporations and banks on the planet, our technology will allow us to be able to make very precise determinations. But in order to do that, we have to have a few inputs that go into it. We have to tell the system how much money we owe. For example, on a mortgage, we might owe $300,000. We need to talk about the terms and the interest rates and the payment amounts. In other words, a typical mortgage might have around a 3.5% interest rate, maybe around a $1,500 a month payment, and maybe something like $500 a month of escrow. That's about all we need to be able to do an analysis for you. So at the end of this video, there's going to be a link to make an appointment to do one of two things. You can come on out and see us this upcoming Saturday, March 26th, at the Addison Center Town Center Events Hall. We are going to be appearing there live. That's Global Renaissance. That'll include myself, Coach Chris, along with my team. And we're excited to see you there, and you can come on out and see us. If you've already realized that you'd like to see your numbers, there's also going to be a link to my calendar. There's no cost or obligation to find out what your numbers would look like. So before we wrap up today, I do want to point out that whatever your numbers are right now, if you're like everybody I've ever met, they're likely to change because budgets just do that. They just change. It's just the way it is. So when life happens, not if, whether it's medical expenses or car repairs or an unexpected vacation or business expense, our system is designed to be able to adapt and reroute in a dynamic and customizable way. That's extremely important because that means you will always be able to get back on course even if life throws you a curveball. So to review some of the things we've talked about in previous videos, at the top of this little slide here, we have a couple bullet points that are all related to what we've been talking about over and over again. This is what I called jokingly in one of my videos the other day, Yo Daddy's loan, because a non-recourse loan would be not your daddy's loan, right, class? So on recourse loans, we have the terms and conditions we've talked about. We all know them. We don't need to review them. But that's one possibility for an offset account. The second possibility would be just a checking or savings account. That's right. Our program will work with just a savings method. But if we choose a hybrid vehicle, not the old-fashioned gas guzzler, not the 100% pure electric, but a hybrid vehicle, that would be the liquid IUL choice. That's with a line of credit that is a non-recourse loan or not your daddy's loan. And that is what we talked about in the very beginning of this video. That's the liquid asset safely earning returns. So theoretically, we could use any one of those offset accounts that was just listed right there. For optimal results, we do recommend for those who qualify the last one I mentioned, but we can use any of those offset accounts that were listed. We also like to just call that the middle. And this is why we call it the middle. So for almost everybody I talk to, they get paid through direct deposit over here on the left, what's labeled as checking. And again, using any one of those offset accounts, that's going to be the middle, but we do prefer what I like to call the super saver, what's labeled on the slide as an IUL or indexed universal life with a line of credit. That line of credit is a non-recourse loan or not your daddy's loan. In other words, no credit check, no expectation of repayment and until you die. So we get paid over here on the left through direct deposit. We pay all of our minimum bills and we have extra money left over. How often depends on the cash flow in our household. The system directs us and guides us. It does not do anything for us. It does not take anything over. We're talking about a GPS system, not a self-driving car. So when we follow directions, and we do have to be coachable and we have to execute the directions we're given, we move money from the checking over to the savings. And how much? That's what the technology is going to tell us. It's going to learn our exact burn rate of money. And it's going to be programmed by a qualified financial advisor, whether it's myself or someone on my team who's also qualified and certified as a wealth builder. We're going to program everything that you would want to have accounted for. Your children or grandchildren's education, your own retirement goals, your goals to be able to travel, your goals to fund charities or churches or mission trips. Whatever your goals are, that's going to be programmed into the system before it recommends how much money you're going to move from one account to the other. Now, with that customized guidance, you're going to follow the directions and move the money to the middle until such time as you've built up enough in the middle to go make a strategic debt transfer. And it would be appropriate at this point to refer back to one of our previous videos where we demonstrated how on a typical mortgage, we could eliminate $23,000 worth of future payments by sending in an extra $5,000. We can harken back to that. By sending in that, for example, $5,000 to knock out 23, we're going to make a pretty good dent on most mortgages or debt situations. Using my own personal example, if I had $250,000 of debt, 23,000 would make a pretty good dent, but it wouldn't get it entirely paid off. So I would have to keep working with my system and following directions, telling the system what I paid for, how much I got paid, and then the system is going to give me guidance on how much money to move to the middle and when I've moved enough and when it's safe, when the rest of my budget's protected, and when the optimal time is to make that strategic debt transfer. That's a lot like the Terminator in the famous movie getting all red-eyed and locked on target and taking a kill shot. Because at the end of the day, not to be too violent, and in this time of war, I do pray for peace and peace for Ukraine. But the analogy here is that we do want to eliminate, or more colorfully, kill our debt. And we can use math and we can use technology to accomplish that goal. So this is Coach Chris signing off for today. And in our next episode, we are going to be breaking this down a little bit further. We're going to open up a sample case. We're going to change the names to protect the innocent, but we're going to show you some real actual client numbers and what would be able to show you if you decided that you would like to see if we could save you any time or money in getting out of debt faster, and then using that same money that you're using to get out of debt to also then build up your own wealth. Because if we can help you to retire your debt, then you've got a real shot at retiring with dignity. So once again, this is Christian McFarland signing off for now. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next episode. God bless. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye for now, y'all.